Hey fellow music fans, welcome back to Psychology of Rock. If you're new here, my name's Nina, and today we're going to be dissecting the lyrics of one of my favorite songs by Pink Floyd, the iconic track Comfortably Numb, which appeared on their 11th studio album, The Wall, in 1979. Now, on the surface, the song has a pretty established and somewhat straightforward meaning that I think is incredibly profound and very relatable. And I want to go ahead and talk about that first. But then I want to offer a deeper look at the lyrics through a psychological lens, which I think makes them even more impressive and profound. And as always, I have to give the disclaimer that this is just my personal analysis. I'm in no way trying to speak for the band or trying to suggest that this is the only interpretation possible. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump right in. Now, the storyline of the concept album The Wall follows the protagonist, Pink, who builds this metaphorical wall around himself and cuts himself off from his own emotions and everyone around him as a way to try to cope with his traumatic experiences and all the loss he's been through. Every time he experiences more pain, another brick is added to this invisible wall. The song Comfortably Numb is traditionally interpreted as depicting Pink being in a dreamlike state inside his mental prison and them injecting him with a substance to try to get him back into a state where he can actually get on stage that evening. Roger Waters explained the song as describing Pink's confrontation with the doctor, where his only concern is to get him to perform, and Pink's psychological pain is completely ignored. In the song, the doctor diminishes and almost invalidates the depth of his suffering. We can see this in his condescending and very tone-deaf statement of, "I hear you're feeling down," where he assures him that he can ease his pain and get him on his feet again with a mere injection. So Pink gets the pinprick and becomes numb enough both emotionally and physically to keep on going, even though he essentially says that his dreams are dead and he doesn't feel anything anymore, good or bad. This is a song that many people relate to and connect with when it's interpreted this way, and it's always made me feel really emotional. But like I said earlier, I actually think it's even deeper than that. I had never really thought about the song in any other way, but I was listening to it a few days ago, and it suddenly hit me that it was perfectly describing a psychological phenomenon called dissociation, as well as the related concepts of derealization and depersonalization that are often linked to trauma. When I realized this, I started to listen to the song over and over and over again, and this interpretation made the song even more brilliant in my eyes. So I want to quickly talk about these concepts, and then I want to discuss why I think the lyrics are such an impeccable illustration of them. So let's start with dissociation. Now, this is a broad term encompassing diverse experiences of disconnecting from reality, thoughts, emotions, or sense of self. It can manifest as daydreaming, amnesia, emotional numbing, or feeling out of our body, and it's often used as a coping mechanism for overwhelming emotions or trauma. So in the case of Pink, it's very possible that the numbness he was experiencing was much more emotional than physical. And I think this makes even more sense when we consider derealization and depersonalization. So let's go ahead and talk about those as well. So derealization is a specific type of dissociation that involves feeling detached from our surroundings. When we experience this, the world may seem unreal, dreamlike, or blurry, and objects, people, and even the environment might feel distant or distorted. Now, depersonalization is another specific form of dissociation that instead involves feeling detached from ourselves. It can feel like we are actually observing ourselves from outside of our body. Our thoughts, emotions, and memories might even seem unreal or foreign. So in other words, derealization focuses on detachment from our surroundings, and depersonalization focuses on detachment from ourselves. And of course, in the song, it seems like Pink is experiencing both of these things. Overall, I feel like the song depicts the conflict between the suffering and isolation in Pink's world and the relentless demands of the external world, which in the song seems to be represented by the doctor. So with all of this in mind, I want to quickly talk about how this interpretation sheds light on the different aspects of dissociation. Now, the first aspect is fragmentation and emotional detachment. So right away, we start with the opening lines, "Hello, is there anyone in there?" which shows that Pink is completely disconnected from the outside world. I feel like the doctor's questioning, "Can you show me where it hurts?" highlights Pink's difficulty accessing and acknowledging his emotional pain, which is a very common dissociative response. The question also reinforces his feelings of being objectified and having his pain dismissed, and highlights the disconnect between his internal experiences and the attempts to kind of fix him within the physical world. Now, the next aspect is sensory disruption. The lines, "There is no pain, you are receding, you are only coming through in waves, and your lips move, but I can't hear what you're saying," portray a sense of unreality and distorted perception, which are both characteristics of derealization. His childhood memory of "My hands felt just like two balloons" further emphasizes the altered sensory experiences that are often associated with dissociation. Now, I know that Roger Waters went on record to say that these lines were autobiographical and that they described a time when he was delirious from the flu or an infection where he had a high fever. But I also think it can be seen as a great example of the type of unusual sensory experiences that can occur when people do go through this. The next aspect that applies is lost memories. So, for example, the lines, "I caught a fleeting glimpse out of the corner of my eye, I turned to look but it was gone," could symbolize either his lost memories or an emotional disconnection from his past experiences, which is a very common occurrence in dissociative disorders. Also, the line, "The child is grown, the dream is gone," suggests feeling severed from his past self and shows his emotional vulnerability. It's almost like he's saying he's become comfortable with the loss of hope and his childhood innocence. Of all the lines in the song, that one has always hit me the hardest. Now, the next aspect we can see in the song is using numbness as a coping mechanism. The lines, "I have become comfortably numb," becomes the central theme, depicting numbness as his chosen defense against the overwhelming pain and isolation. It's too much for him. He feels like the only way to survive his suffering is to just be in this hazy reality where he's really only semi-conscious. We can see the lines of "Come on, it's time to go," and "There is no pain, you are receding," portraying the pressure to maintain normalcy and to try to function as usual despite feeling detached, which many people wrestle with during dissociative episodes. Really, the entire song itself can be seen as a giant dissociative episode that mirrors Pink's struggle to connect with his emotions and navigate his inner world. Now, ultimately, the meaning of the lyrics is up for personal interpretation. However, I do feel like they strongly resonate with various experiences of disconnection from reality, and that "comfortably numb" perfectly illustrates dissociation and its emotional costs. I also think that even beyond the lyrics, the music itself, especially the highly emotional guitar, also effectively illustrates this concept and beautifully conveys the pain and isolation that Pink is experiencing. I really feel like "Comfortably Numb" depicts the entire experience of dissociation through both the lyrics and the sonic expression. But really, whether you choose to see the song through this particular lens or you tend to gravitate towards a more traditional interpretation, it really doesn't matter. Either way, the song is a lyrical masterpiece. The song and the album just never get old. So those are my thoughts on "Comfortably Numb," but I would love to hear yours. So don't forget to leave a comment down below. As always, I truly hope that you enjoyed today's analysis. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not done so already. I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week.